This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
This is Mack's Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Live from the IT in the D studios above Activate Gaming in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan, it's the IT in the D Show.
It's I Love the 90s, and this is 1994.
Mosaic put a face to the web.
The Los Angeles Police Department right now is actively searching for Mr. Simpson.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck, Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Life of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D Show.
You try to take any passengers off the bus, I will detonate.
Tell me there aren't customers that annoy the piss out of you on a daily basis.
I dig you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to IT in the D.
You're going to wear the shirt of the band you're going to go see. Don't be that guy.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
They call it a Royale with cheese.
So what happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bunghole?
Exactly. Come on. Tries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the show.
Hi, this is Ralph Macchio, and you're listening to IT in the D Show. Wax on, you know what.
Mr. Simpson is a fugitive of justice right now.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT in the D Show. No mercy.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Say what again? Say what again?
Hi, this is Martin Cove, John Kreese from the Karate Kid movie, and you're listening to IT in the D.
Yes, Sensei!
They're begging us. Please have a party. Feed us drinks. Get us laid.
I hope you're not using the toilet. It's broken.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump Pump. IT in the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
You're in your underwear? I'm in my underwear. Here, let's hang out.
No, I'm sorry, honey. I have a headache.
I definitely want to see Bob in his underwear. That's a fact.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
You take these bored housewives married to the same guy for years, they're stuck in a rut. They need some release. Promise of adventure, a hint of danger.
We got screwed at the same time. Yeah.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
So, what do you do?
I'm a vampire.
Hey, try not to suck any dick on the way through the parking lot. Yes! Yes! Yeah! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh? Huh? Huh?
It's just too big. It's way too big.
We just lost our clean tag on iTunes.
You know, there's a million fine-looking women in the world, dude, but they don't all bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you.
This is Robert Hayes, the tit striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat stick.
Turn your microphone off. Just get out.
There is a bomb on this bus. Last year, I spent more money on spilled liquor than you made. Woo!
Days on shrimp kebabs, shrimp Creole, shrimp gumbo, pan fried, deep fried, stir fried.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Hey folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT in the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed!
Sir, had you better buckle up?
Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
And welcome back, and thank you for listening. This is the June 1st edition of the IT and the D Show. We're at episode 94. We are hanging out here right above Activate Gaming in our brand new studios in the Trinet corporate offices in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. As always, the show is hosted by myself, Bob the Sales Guy. here with Dave the Geek, Jeremiah, Dr. J from Daily Detroit. Find us online, itinthed.com. Like us on Facebook /itinthed. Follow us on Twitter /itinthed. And if you have the Googles, download our brand new app in the Google Play Store. Just look up IT in the D, no spaces, and it's an easy little way to listen to the show. Easier. We got a couple great guests in the studio tonight. We have Major General Amy Corder, repeat offender. She's the VP of Sales and Marketing for YoungSoft. Going to be talking about a couple vet programs going on and also kind of the open positions that's going on and kind of the state of the IT industry in Detroit. Then we also have Emily here from Mack Media, social media guru, Detroit party queen. She's going to be talking about some of the cool events going on in Detroit, some of the stuff she's doing for some of her clients. And we are live. What do you think, Dave?
We are. Apparently we are still live and we are still broadcasting, so who knows? I tested it at 8 o'clock before I walked out to grab a beer. I don't know what happened between then and now.
Like a good software guy you are, you test in production, so you know.
I did. That's what we do.
Just blame it on the Nain Rouge.
It's the Nain Rouge, is it? You know,
because we mocked it for so long, and now the stupid little red demons coming to mess with us.
Or we can blame it on the rain. What the heck's going on in the state?
It's thankfully not raining now. We were driving out to my niece's graduation yesterday, and there was like flooding everywhere, sides of streets, just water, and as far as the eye could see.
And everyone in Texas is mocking you. Exactly. So, by the way, just to let you know real quick, I forgot to mention that we are drinking delicious Falling Down beer.
We are.
If you get a chance, they're on 10 and Dequinder in Warren, Michigan. Check them out. Try the Reuben Egg Rolls. Their beer is outstanding. And tell Mark we said hello.
Always. Well, and then the other good little order of business we should handle. We do have an event on Wednesday night. So not Thursday, Wednesday. 2 days from now.
Between Tuesday.
Right, between Tuesday and Thursday. Right. That's where we'll be. So it is out at Stray Cat Lounge, out at about 18 in Garfield. All the details are on the site, the Facebook page, the meetup group, all that fun, happy hoo-ha. Phenomenal little Scotch cigar martini bar.
You can smoke inside.
And you can. And we'll be doing one of these broadcasts live, hopefully with less tech, because it's the 2-year anniversary of our very first show.
Oh, my goodness. Whee! Slow clap.
It worked out that way, that June 3rd, so that'll be the event, and that's the 2-year anniversary of our very first podcast.
That's outstanding. I can't believe it's been, honestly, 2 years. That's crazy.
And what did you give us, Bob?
Slow clap?
No. What was the over-under that you had when we started this?
I do it 16?
Yeah.
Was it 16? Oh, my God.
Yeah, you gave us 16 episodes before we were sick of talking to each other, ran out of things to talk about, wanted to kill each other, never wanted to see each other again.
I mean, let's just be honest. You two have a full-on bromance going on. It was not going to end at just 16. This is a love story for the ages.
If only I would argue, but even my wife agrees with you. So yeah, it is what it is.
We say work wife. Yeah, it's become Dave now. You know, like
I don't judge. I love everyone.
Went shopping for his and his towels. It's a. But yeah, speaking of which, Bruce Jenner is no longer eligible for his or his towels.
You mean? See, there's one major fail. I think you pointed this one out most.
I did. I cannot believe
instead
he
of
did
going
not go to Juice Brenner.
Right.
I can't. That would have been the ultimate win as far as I was concerned. But no, he went with Caitlyn.
And the best meme out there is,
and now I can't. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, everybody I know named Caitlyn is so angry on Facebook right now.
No, there was a great meme that was floating around today. It's like how mad is what's the mom's name?
Kris Jenner.
No, yeah. How mad is it that Kris Jenner's ex-husband looks
better than she does?
Wah wah wah
wah wah wah wah. Yeah, absolutely.
But like that was the one thing, like. Full spread and like lingerie on Vanity Fair. I'm like, good for you. Now lingerie, not so much. I was just fine with you.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you're still what, 70?
Is he 70? No.
Well, he won all of his gold medals in what?
70s.
In the early 70s?
72.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like my father.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see your dad in lingerie either. Let's be clear.
The reality is, it's just the magic of Photoshop.
Right.
That's one of the things. Do you ever see those videos of how the models do the photography and they Photoshop the heck out of them? I show that to my kids. I'm like, this stuff you see is not real. Like all those things that, on the internet and those pictures in the magazines, none of those people are real. It's all, the power of Photoshop. And whoever invented Photoshop, I guess, I don't know, God bless you or God hate you one of the two.
Well, people have been doing something like Photoshop for ever since photography started.
Yeah, touching up
and like the ghost photos with Abraham Lincoln and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the software is really taking it to a whole new level, which gives us what we have today, like Caitlyn Bruce Jenner.
So who's having a bad week?
Some poor woman whose husband died out in California. That's who's having a bad week. There is a green electronics recycling company that is desperately trying to find the woman who dropped off a box of junk after cleaning out her recently deceased husband's closet, in which there was a functional Apple One.
Was it at wood, like a wooden case?
Yeah.
It sold in auction for $200,000 to a collector.
And so according to the rules of this organization, I mean, they go off and they sell stuff and they give 50% of it back to whoever donated it. But whoever dropped it off, didn't leave a name, just said, nah, I don't care about the tax implications. I don't want the write-off. Just here, have it.
Wow.
And now has $100,000 pending out there. And they said, yeah, we don't have a name. I would recognize her if she walked in again, but...
And all it was a box of junk. Yeah, it turned
out of her husband's closet.
Really shows you how much one person's junk is another person's treasure. You know what I mean?
What's my Commodore 64 worth in my dad's basement, I wonder?
Are you sure it's still there?
I know the 1541 hard drive. God, I remember that.
Yeah.
I know that. It's totally still there.
Yeah.
I think my Odyssey is still there, too, for the video game system. I should eBay, see what that stuff's worth these days.
So
who else is having a bad week?
Everyone who loves Big Trouble in Little China.
I was saying you're having a bad week. The remakes won't stop. Hollywood.
They won't. The rumor now is that Big Trouble in Little China with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's so bad.
Kiss my ass,
It's
Hollywood.
so bad.
I did. I thought
Point Break was the worst.
I thought Point Break was the worst it could possibly get, and then I read about Big Trouble in Little China.
That's so bad.
And now I'm literally almost speechless. I don't understand. I want to drop a tactical nuke on Hollywood at this point.
See, that's the thing. I'm looking forward to the Flash Gordon remake because I know they're gonna do it right.
It's a sequel,
right? It's a sequel.
It's not
correct.
a remake,
correct? But Point Break isn't you would have think if you were gonna do Point Break that you're gonna say hey, remember in the '90s when those guys did that thing?
Yeah,
we should do that.
Yeah,
and that'd be sweet.
Not trying to pretend you're being all original.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, copycat. And
yeah,
kind of we're extreme athletes too. But no, they're gonna just try to do a RoboCop again. Haven't they learned? If you retell the story again, that's why Mad Max was awesome because they made it a continuation. Guy said the greatest line. He goes, "I've already told that story. Why am I going to tell it again?"
Right.
And it's come on, Big Trouble. You're killing all of us just a little bit on the inside.
Well, and it's I went off on last time. They're remaking Scarface, but is it set in the 1980s? No. Does it deal with Cuban immigrants? No. Does it have anything to do with any of the original plot line of the movie Scarface? No. They're setting it in 1920s to 1930s Los Angeles gangsters. That sounds like it's going to be a great story. There is no need for that to be named Scarface.
No.
Come up with a different name that won't make me want to kill you. That's all I ask.
Call it anything. Boardwalk Empire Schmer. Call it anything.
You call it Schwarface. Whatever. Not quite Scarface. Or call it Scarface in the 1930s.
The stars of 20 Idaho.
Right.
Think of some state in the Midwest. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I've got absolutely nothing.
You know what we forgot to talk about real quick? We were on WJR this weekend.
We were.
I totally forgot about it.
That was interesting.
It was our second foray into terrestrial radio.
Where the FCC is in full effect. And
there's no falling down beer in the middle of the
There's no falling down beer. And there's no popcorn. And there's no swearing. And there's no...
Nothing.
It's... Gary Baker's been good to us.
He's phenomenal.
He's, good guys, good time, good talks. But, it's a completely different experience.
Well, my wife was listening when we were on, and she goes... she kept texting me, goes, Oh my God, so many ads.
Yeah.
Like you thought our show's bad, Pimpin' Casper and
right.
Audible.
And it's a break.
Right, exactly.
Hey, let's have another, and it's a break. And then all of a sudden there's jazz music in our ears and it's all over.
Every time I was listening to you on JR, it just really felt like nothing could really get going as flow too much because it's just ad. Oh, here's another ad. Here's another ad. Would you like another ad?
And we talked about that, and I've been going back and forth with Foster via email about it. I mean, that is one of the big differences. Like, so I mean, they run about an 8-minute segment, and then you've got jazz music coming through the earphones, and it's they're heading out to a break. And I'm like, man, I got to be honest with you. I'm like, when you guys are breaking, that's right when our conversations with people are just starting to hit their stride. Like that's right when you've gotten through all the preliminaries and you're good, and then you're throwing the curtain down and making people reset again. And that's not the smartest way to do that.
But I think that's kind of the difference between kind of like new media and old media, right? Whether it's radio or television or all the other parts.
But doesn't old media know everything, Jer?
Oh, of course they do. But with that kind of thing, it's really easy to stick to talking points, right? Because there are no preliminaries. There's the bio on the website, and then it's like, okay, well, hit your 3 talking points.
Here's my PowerPoint presentation
your communications
that I wanted to talk
person
through.
wants you to get, and then that's it, and then you're done, and then you move on to the next thing. Whereas digital is a lot more conversational, whether it's audio or text or video or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
The thing that killed me is, I understand the JR demographics a tad bit older, right? It's pretty much, like my dad's age. And they take call-in for like tech support. And my God, like I told Dave, I go, so help me God, do you not answer any of them because he's going to go nuts. Guys are like, I'm on my, what was it? Windows?
I've got my Windows Vista PC with my brother printer, and it's not recognizing it for some reason, like literally deep accent. And I'm like, Sir, are you calling from 1997 and Yugoslavia? Like what?
Well, like everything.
I listened to your show in Russia, comrade.
That's right.
Let me Google that for you. That was like
in Soviet Russia. Googles you.
Well, no, because like the one woman, like her printer broke. And like, how old's the printer? It's like 6 years, and like they're going through and helping her with like the spoolers and all this other stuff. And I go, thank God I didn't answer. I actually said this on the air. I go, thank God I didn't answer because I would have just said, throw the thing out and buy them. They're like $50.
It's $50 for a new printer. That's
That answer wouldn't have flown to a lot of JR listeners.
Well, and I did manage to slip one. So have you Googled this yet? In the conversation, yeah.
Whoops.
Kind of had to.
So, who else is having a bad week? IRS.
Yeah. Well, and more importantly, a lot of American taxpayers are having a bad week because the IRS is having a bad week.
So you think the Pentagon, the most highly guarded facility probably in the free world, right next to Fort Knox.
Yeah.
So, like, why can't you do this with your data stuff? So what the heck? What got released? Like hundreds of thousands of like social.
Yeah. So there was apparently a little widget on the IRS website.
What's a widget?
And what's a widget? That would let you download all of your records. And so with very limited information that they could have gathered from multiple other locations, they were able to retrieve about 200,000 like full tax histories, like all of your filings, everything you've done, everything you filed, everything you've earned, everything you've paid for like however long you had it available on the IRS website. And that's kind of bad.
So is anything, I haven't heard any repercussions that came from that. Has anybody, like, has there been people like identity stolen? What did they send out warnings?
Oh yeah, they sent out the warnings and the usual, hey, go buy LifeLock, here's your free subscription to LifeLock for 12 months and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but I
good
mean,
luck with that.
Yeah, I mean it's out there. I mean it just happened not too long ago. So I mean it's one of those things that as it evolves, we'll see what happens and all the fun, wacky mayhem that'll come along. But I mean it's not like that's the only problem they had. I mean, we were talking about it back during tax filing season where there were all those people that were trying to file their taxes and kept getting rejected by the IRS because somebody had already gone in and filed a tax return using their SSN. I mean, there's only, the more digital you get, I mean, this is one of those, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why you can't have voting online. This is why you can't have, that kind of nonsense. I mean, just because it's so easily open and just open for fraud.
My 10-year-old dropped that one on me. She goes, can we do a credit check? I go, what are you talking about? She goes, what happens if somebody stole my identity? I'm just like, nobody stole your damn identity. Where'd you get that from? Watching a flat commercial. I'm like, no, you're fine,
Yeah, Gretchen, you're 10. You're good.
Right, exactly. If that's the case, fine. Establish some credit for my kid. Go ahead.
Right. So the other people that are having a bad week are people on Instagram. who thought that they owned the photos that they posted. Because there's this wonderful little artist out in New York City who went ahead and printed out their Instagram photos. You know, he would make it like he would, you know, basically grab a screen capture, modify a couple of the comments on the photos, but then go ahead and print them off. And he printed them off on like 6 foot by 4 foot canvases, and they were selling for $90,000 a pop.
That's why I don't buy art. You know, that whole world just like, what's the difference between that and like the $300 print at?
Well, so that was the best part. Is so one of the people whose photos he, let's be honest, stole was one of the Suicide Girls, and so
interesting,
and like the founder of the Suicide Girls, and so she basically like just started turned their entire website into a promotion where you can buy it at this gallery that he's selling them for $90,000 a piece, or hey, you can buy the authentic original for $9. Go.
Well, that's the whole, like, somebody came. I remember one of my neighbors came over to my house, and like that picture I have in the kitchen, that Rossi martini with the girl with the drinks, whatever, above my kitchen table. He's like, "Oh my God, is that real?" I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Wait, no, is it real?" I go, "I bought it at Home Goods. What do you mean?" Like, he's like, and he just shakes his head. He goes,
It's an actual painting.
Yeah, I know. It's not a hologram. Yeah, it's real. And he just shakes his head and goes, "You disappoint me." I'm like, "What? I don't, like."
Sorry, did someone walk into your house expecting you to be an artiste savant?
I drink $3 bottles of wine. You think I'm buying $6,000?
Have you not seen my fridge full of PBR? You think I'm an art connoisseur? The most treasured piece of art in my house is the Flash Gordon painted in front of Flash Gordon, signed by Flash Gordon.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
art.
And they were playing Flash Gordon while he was painting Flash Gordon. Yeah. That's the most I've ever. I would never thought I was ever going to spend that much on anything, and and I'll cherish that. I can't believe people that like sell that stuff. Like, I saw a couple of his the Dave Santia prints. They're phenomenal, by the way. It's like, you can't sell that stuff. You know what I mean? Especially that. Like,
no, it's there.
He's not an art connoisseur, but he's just talking about how the prints are phenomenal.
Right, but like. But here's the thing, though, with that Instagram, going back, wasn't that guy like taking pictures of other people's stuff? Like, it wasn't even his original art.
No, he was going onto people's Instagram accounts.
No. But the guy that he took the picture from, that he took that Instagram account from, I read something that like that was not his. Like, he was just like taking a picture of someone else's stuff. Like, it wasn't even his art. It's kind of like when we were talking about like the Detroit police stole the lithogram. It's like,
right.
How do you own that picture? It's the damn GM Center. Like, you don't own that. It's there. Like, how do you? I don't get it. Like, if you take a picture of that tree, that's your art. Like, no, I can take a picture of that tree.
Well, and you could. If you took that same picture, yes, more power to you.
That's why I don't like art.
Well, but that's why. Well, but that's why there's that whole, the art forgery world and all that fun nonsense. I mean, to a comment, like, would you know a fake Mona Lisa from the real one if someone popped it in front of you? No.
Slick Rick cover? Yeah. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Was it a 2 Live Crew cover? That I would identify. But no.
I watch the damn Pawn Stars. It's like every time the guy brings in his art, he thinks it's worth $2 million. Like, nope, fake.
Yeah.
That guy probably spent $200,000 on it at a show.
Yeah, and you're an idiot.
So what the heck's going on with what else is going on? There's a whole bunch of stuff.
The one story that I thought was, because we love talking about them, Uber. Apparently, Uber is perfectly okay with you renting a car and being an Uber driver.
Is that even worthwhile?
Like, so that's and now there's this whole secondary market where people are like, it's a reverse Uber. Like, people are saying, "Hey, you can borrow my car to be an Uber driver. Here's what it's going to cost you." So now you have Uber drivers that are like kind of like taxi companies, where you're paying someone to go out and try to get fares to be an Uber driver.
See, that's
it's so very weird.
But
that
it's
whole
also
economy
very
now.
common and very much like what happens with like the quote unquote actual cab companies. Because with a lot of those actual cab companies, the drivers are leasing the cab or leasing the service from the company,
right,
to do it. So
because the cab driver's not going out and buying the medallion and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the exact same thing, really. And I mean, I understand the idea of like, oh, my car's smashed, I get a rental for a day. Why should you not work? I mean, if it was like a 1 or 2 day rental, I totally get it. I mean, if that's your job.
Do you make that much to be an Uber driver? I don't.
Well, then what's a car? I honestly have no idea.
$35 a day plus.
I guess if you can't make, dude, if Mike McMahon is posting on Uber that he's doing okay, then you must be able to do okay.
I don't know if he's doing okay.
I don't know.
But like, I rent cars. It's like usually for like a 3-day trip, it's like $110 and then plus gas.
I would assume you should be able to make
for a hot
more
weekend,
than
you should be able to do that.
$35. Yeah,
a day. Yeah, I would hope. Well, you got
for a hot weekend, you should be able to do that. I mean, a couple of drivers I've talked to, they'll pull between $500 and $800.
Are you kidding me?
Well, if they know what they're doing, if they know the streets, if you know the streets, then you're good. Especially like in a dense area, and your goal is like one guy I talked to, he looks at it as a game. Like he goes to school and he's like a master's student or whatever, but he looks at Uber as a game to make money. And his whole game is when I play, I want to keep a butt in my seat as much as I can because as long as there's somebody in my back seat, I'm making money.
I just got a new business idea. Slow roll. You got 4,000 people going through the city.
Riding on their handlebars?
Right. No, rickshaws. All of them. All of them attach rickshaws.
I think you two should do slow roll in a rickshaw.
Yeah,
I think the two of you being pulled,
Yeah.
or the pedicab guys.
Yeah, I'll
Motor City
totally,
pedicab, get in the back, the two of you.
Done.
Totally in on that.
We should do that.
Like for all the Quicken Loans employees that have to go up to Midtown to go to the parking lot, just hop on a slow roll rickshaw, and then get to charge like $4, and then I could buy.
Could you have like a buggy whip, like they were a horse?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for two of you, we need a sedan
we're
chair.
They're not running. They're not pulling us.
Could we get a chariot?
2 horses, possible.
Get like 2 people on Schwinn's in front of a chariot. That'd be outstanding. All right. Well, hey, we are bouncing up against a break. So
we got our favorite. We got to end the show on the proper note.
There's more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So there's a new thing out. Remember, you can send someone poop.
Oh, we've talked about this every week for the last several weeks.
You can send someone poop, right?
It keeps evolving.
You can send someone glitter, right? And that wasn't fun.
No, well, that wasn't good enough.
And then it became you can send someone a bag of dicks. And
Yeah.
it was like gummy, like just saying,
Hey, thanks for being a dick.
Right,
yeah.
right. And then it was a jar of farts.
Yeah,
that was the last one.
that was the last one last
week. And then
week.
the last thing that came out is you can send someone a wiener trophy.
You can actually, an actual trophy
shaped like a wiener
of a schwanz. Yeah,
yeah, and basically saying you are the king of the I don't even know what to call them. But I still think the jar of farts is the best one. But I'm honestly planning on sending someone a couple of dick trophies. I think.
Can we come up with a list?
We should. We got to come up with something better. There's got to be something better. Between all the stupid ideas we have, there has to be something.
Like if we sent people that guy's shirts, do you think they would wear them?
Oh, absolutely, stinking! We got to have that guy's shirts. That's it. That's all there is to it. All right, that's our new idea. All right, hey, we're coming up against a break. Segment 2, we're going to have Major General Amy Corder here. This is the IT and the D Show. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D Show.
If you're a reseller of IT solutions, the original equipment manufacturer should not be your strongest competitor. At Quantum, we understand the true meaning of partnership. We work with our channel to deliver industry-leading solutions together, all the time, not just when it's convenient for us. Heck, we don't even have a direct sales force. Quantum is looking for a few good partners. Call 586-745-4DXI to get started. That's 586-745-4394.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
Welcome back to June 1st edition, episode 94. This is the IT and the D Show. We're sitting here above Activate Gaming in our brand spanking new studios in the TriNet corporate offices in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy here with Dave the Geek, Jeremiah from Daily Detroit. Find us online, itandthed.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and download our app on Google Play Store.
All of the things IT and the D. Why?
Because we are IT and the D, and you are not.
You still are not, even though we still get Facebook messages even today asking if we know who you are and are they affiliated with us.
Speaking of which, is there an IT guy in the house? We could use one right about now. Just
a sound engineer in the house. Anyone? Bueller.
So we're actually very privileged. Second time offense. We have Amy Corder here, Major General Amy Corder, who is currently the VP of Sales and Marketing for YoungSoft.
Senior
Senior vice president. Sorry, I didn't mean to belittle you, Amy. Sorry, I got to be careful. But we sincerely appreciate you coming back on. We're amazed that and shocked that you decided to come back twice after the first time around.
I'm still stunned that you invited me. So this is terrific. It's all the same for us.
Right. So what's
and now that we've heard that someone random heard you on our show in Kalamazoo, that always makes us laugh because we don't know.
Tell that story.
We've said that a million. We have no idea where our listeners. When we see them, we know the numbers are there. We don't know who they are.
Well, they are everywhere. It was amazing to be sitting at a Board of Trustees dinner. Oh, the last place in the world I expected to have this
for us to come up.
right. And so, but generally,
shit, what did I do?
No, we're good with who we are.
Pass the wine in the crackers. Have you heard about those miscreants, Bob and Dave?
Well, now you have to know.
Yeah, we'll talk about Mackinac in segment 4.
Well, there is that. I was a DJ while I was at Kalamazoo College. So when they said we heard you on, I thought, wow, from how many years ago?
Yeah.
And then, because there are ghosts, I guess. But anyway, no, it was a Board of Trustees member who said, oh, my goodness, I heard you. That was terrific. This is wonderful. And everyone at the table, including some pretty distinguished people, leaned in to say, you what? You did what?
Crazy.
Yeah,
and so then I helped them through the technology of finding all of you. So it's wonderful.
Crazy. Well, happy to have you back. So there's, I guess, diving in. What's some of the stuff going on at Youngsoft these days? What's everyone always wants to know about, like, as far as trends, like, hey, should I learn Java? Hey, should I learn .NET? Hey, should I go Cisco? So, I mean, what are you guys seeing? What's kind of the trend and what's driving the market these days?
Yeah, well, we really enjoy that we have selected some great niche markets. Having said that, those centers of excellence really are based on Java, but also .NET to some extent. But we look at some of the community edition, so open source. It allows a lot of students to get more involved earlier on with what they do. So whether that's the LifeRay platform that enables universities to help them expose their information and deliver their content out to potential students, or all the way up through corporations who buy enterprise editions that allow them to have portals, have information, and different ways to access it in their organization. So at Youngsoft, we specialize in portals, so sharing content. We specialize in business intelligence, so big data, or as I say, a whole bunch of little data that aggregates into big data, and also really working with the digital experience. So helping whether it's marketeers or the technologists really bring new content into their shops.
So portals, external facing, internal facing. I mean, are we talking intranet, extranet? Where do they play?
Yes.
Yes, all of the above.
That's the great thing with the platform we've selected. It started out as a very small. We really helped get our people up to speed, spend a lot of time also training them as well so that our technologists are ready to go. But then what we found is that across time, organizations like Gartner have said this is a great portal. They've climbed through the leadership ranks in the third-party research that really looks at what's the most value for the money, what does a good job, and what's good from a technology standpoint.
So speaking of technology standpoints, what's the kicker when you talk about open source and Java? Do you want someone walking in the door that's got everything? Would you rather have someone laser pinpoint focused? Would you have someone that's a specialist in big data, or is that another D, yes, all the above?
Well, it's a bit of that, or maybe that's an E, yes, all the above.
Right.
It's what's important is that people really learn what they can do well. And so for some, for example, it might be in design. It might be, I'm not the best technologist, but wow, I know how to enable technology for users to see it well and be able to quickly identify and really have the right design that's going to resonate with the end users. So it's really select the area. I was fortunate in my career. I've had an opportunity to be in a lot of different spaces and across different type of work. But I also find people are incredibly great at one thing, and as long as they do that well, then that's great. And so in our organization, we have all of the above.
Got it. So the vet program you were talking about, the Next for Vets. What talk to me. Obviously, you got a pretty storied history with in the military. What's and I know if you go to New Horizons these days, you can get a CCNA cert. Being in the military. What are you guys doing to for this program?
Yeah, so this is through Inforum Center for Leadership, which is a women's alliance based in Detroit but across the state. And one of the things that got recognized is that even when veterans come back and are less employed. So as a group, they're disproportionately not getting jobs, which seems crazy. You have people that are going and putting their lives on the line, learning incredible.
But not just that. If you look at if you're a communications tech in the military, your skills are far more advanced than if you're just running cell towers here, right?
Well, but I mean, it's actually almost too bad that Brian took off. I mean, that was one of the things that we've talked with him about, that the challenges that he's had. And not just whether overt or covert. I mean, whether it's his personality or anything like that, he's found challenges being a vet, looking for a gig. In the workforce, just because
astounds me, by the way, because his resume is impeccable.
Well, and his brother is,
right.
Just saying, but no, I mean it's rough. I mean, and we do. I mean, we've done a lot with military over the years, and that stuns me / pisses me off. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's really it is amazing, and it's also many people still don't understand that really happens. And I would say that the biggest challenge is really just a terminology issue, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Even in technology, that's why you see the CCNA opportunities for veterans, because in the military they may have used different terminology, used a different, almost a different language, if you will. And so for the veterans then to come out and explain what they've done and what do we look at on resumes? We look at licenses.
Buzzwords.
We look at the buzzwords, right? So when those buzzwords just don't match, it becomes even more difficult. So their story is hard to tell. The other thing that happens is veterans are, kind of busy, right? When they're deployed, it's not as if they're connected back in the area wherever it was, whether it was their hometown or whether it's where they're destined. And so we often find that they don't have the connections. And that's what Inforum does really well, is help make the connections to organizations, kind of as an affinity. And so some of that is just thinking about reaching out and bringing a veteran. There are 500,000 veterans in Michigan alone. There's 50,000 female veterans in Michigan alone.
Wow.
And so we need to have little buttons to help everybody see and say, I'm going to reach out and help a bit.
Well, but and that gets back to, one of the more, I guess, interesting chain of conversations I wound up having was I noticed, I keep an eye on our metrics and all that kind of stuff, and we would get, we got traffic from Iraq every now and then. And there was a guy who tried to join our LinkedIn group from Iraq. And we look, and he's in Iraq, and I'm like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, hey, here's the deal. I believe Mount Pleasant was where he was from, and he was like, I'm stationed over here, and I'm getting ready to roll off in 6 months, and I hear you guys are it. And that was one of the other cool. I've heard guys talking about you over here because we sent stuff over there, and he's like, so I wanted to check you out, and if it's cool, I'd like to join the group. And I'm like, not only is it cool, but when you get back stateside, you show up. We'll get you taken care of. That's how that works.
Yeah, and that's really that you're building that connection. And certainly it's not that they can't build some of those, it's they don't know necessarily where to start.
Right.
There are a lot of great veteran programs. There are a lot of great needs that need to be filled. And so what we found is a void that was there to help with that translation from the military sector to the civilian world, the corporate world. And I was fortunate when I led the Air Force Auxiliary. So it's paramilitary. It's, I reported up through a senior advisor to the Air Force and all of that. Having said that, though, I had personnel who could have been veterans. I had personnel who were former cadets who are now deployed. So the first board meeting, and talk about, and that was BOARD, although the first board meeting that I ran, I'll just say it. There you go. Thank you. I got the bell. I can keep talking, right?
Absolutely.
So at the first board meeting, we had a pipe of, to allow 25,000 people to view the video stream. Why we were video stream, I don't know. But it was full. It was beyond full. And what was amazing was we had countries like Russia, and we had Iraq and Afghanistan and other places that all were looking, which, of course, the first break, everybody said, "Do we need to shut this down, ma'am? I'm a little concerned." And I said, "That's where our people
bases
went."
are.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so I was, honored to receive a flag. They got flown over a base in Afghanistan by someone who was listening, a former Civil Air Patrol cadet who was then deployed, and so those connections seem maybe somewhat silly to us, and they are so key to really allowing them to make those connections back here.
And that's one of the questions I had too. Like, obviously with New Horizons and stuff, giving the free CCNA programs, is that being relayed to the guys coming back that this is waiting for you? Because they're telling us they're having a hard time filling some of these, and I'm like, hey, how is it being communicated, or is it at all?
Yeah, there are a lot of resources, and that's almost the challenge. There are so many URLs, to go follow and find websites to look at, and so I think there's still, and I know that the military is really working hard to get ways to triage that, if you will, to find the right places.
We've recently just gotten invited to go start playing at some of the transition back events and that kind of stuff.
Well, and then there's also the Hiring Our Heroes initiative as well. Which is a big thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Inform's program specifically doing is really looking at the underemployment side of it. So in addition to the unemployment being a big challenge, the other part is that even when they come back and are in civilian careers, they may not be in a career that really matches up with the experience they had. And I shared an example last time. A similar example has come from, now we're in our pilot course. I thought that meant we got to fly planes, by the way. Turned out I was wrong.
I would make that same assumption.
Yeah,
You're good.
Yeah. I was hoping, but in that pilot course, we've got between 16 and 18 women veterans, from those who literally just been out 18 months to those who've been out 19 years. And when we first saw the applications come in, we said, wow, we didn't expect veterans to come 19 years and apply for this program. How can we possibly help them? I'm so glad that we, in this pilot program, kind of took as many as we could. What we found is, even after all those years, they're still not totally finding the best way to connect with their genuine leadership presence. So with sometimes they'll say, well, in the military, this is how I did it. I need to do it differently in the civilian sector. That may be true to some extent, but we all have genuine ways we like to lead.
Right.
And we have ways that we like to learn, and we have ways that we like to mentor. And so not losing that was really important. So what we're doing is working on that underemployment side of it as well, where people are in positions with great companies, wonderful companies, but even the companies themselves say, help us. Help us get them into the right place, and help us learn the ways to make the difference. And I'll give you a quick, amazing example. Part of one of the courses when I was talking about exactly this, the terminology. And I said, we had some nice visuals. Okay, PowerPoint bullets up on the screen, and I was talking through the
it's all about the optics.
Yeah, it's all about optics. Talking about some of these differences in the terminology. And when I got done, and remember, I was in paramilitary. I had to speak in the Pentagon, but I also had to talk to parents of cadets. So I had to be able to transition that. Great experience. I felt like I was in France for a while, like I was in college, but great experience.
Wait, you were surrendering a lot then, or
yeah, perhaps. Okay, yeah, all right. Are people listening in France? And so literally, I got done with this portion of it and said, terminology, isn't that amazing? Roger that. And I heard every one of them, yes, ma'am. And they stunned themselves, and I stunned me, and my co-facilitator, who is, civilian sector, amazing coach and instructor, and every one of us looked at each other with our mouths open. And then I had turned to the civilian speak of what I was going to say with that. And when I did that, you could see them all go, oh. And I said, 19 years, right? And they're still snapping up. Yes, ma'am, because there are all those things that provoke that, right? Because it is about...
It becomes reflex.
It has to be. It has to be. It's your life.
Yeah.
And so you have to have the right reflexes in that. And so what we're trying to do then is help make those distinguishing terminology changes, helping them to work with their leadership skills and how those same skills apply really well. And again, really giving them the opportunity to say, no, it's good that, how many times have you gone out to say, I'm a veteran? And it turns out that doesn't happen very often.
Well, and my father-in-law, Vietnam, forever. And he, that's one of the things he and I have talked about, where he doesn't understand where the transition really happened, other than it was right around him, where, World War II, Korea, you come back, you're a vet, that's basically a golden ticket, you're all set, whatever you need, any company, you've got a job, life's good. Somewhere around Vietnam, that changed, and it's never really recovered from there. And that's – again, I don't understand why that is. I mean, it's yes. I mean, there are a whole lot of parallels. Yeah, there are some subtle differences, but at the end of the day, if you can lead people through a firefight and bring them out alive, I'm pretty sure you can handle some QA testers and developers. Yeah, and get them through a dev cycle. You'll be.
Yeah, we sure hope so. We sure hope so. Yeah, and some of it is too. If you think about the difference, though, in the jobs in the civilian sector. My father was in the Army in World War II, and he came back and was supervising people developing, working with Canvas. And my dad and I said, "Wow, how did you find that job?" And he said, "They found me because, and in fact, he helped design the first Apache trailers, the pop-up trailers, which were made out of Canvas." Okay. And so why? Because he was in the Persian Gulf Supply Command in Iran and Iraq in World War II, and they had to work on Canvas, and they had to get the tents from place to place, and they had to repair them, and so there were jobs that made some sense. Now that may be an amazing fitting example, but again, if you think about it, people would be strong. They would come back, and there would be jobs they could do where their physical strength gave them the ability to earn their way up through the ranks. Now we're bringing people back, and trying to find ways to use the cognitive strengths that they've done, and I think that's just a more difficult thing.
I can't think of a company that I've been in the past 20 years that wouldn't benefit from having better quote unquote battlefield decision making capability.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's reality 101. I mean, how many times do we sit around and kvetch about analysis paralysis and nobody ever gets things done and there's meetings for the state? No, you need people that know how to make decisions.
Just for the record, we've never kvetched.
We've never kvetched. Okay, whatever. Bitched, I guess. Whatever.
Fair. That's
but no, I mean, that's okay. So where do people find out more about these programs, and how do they get engaged, and how do they get involved?
Yeah, so if you go to it's inforummichigan.org,
okay.
There's information about the programs, and there are also a lot of wonderful companies that are sponsoring. And again, as we go forward, we hope that even more will. And whether you're a veteran or whether you're on the employer side and in human resources, in management, looking for great ways to get connected, I think you'll find some good.
So there is a way for employers to get engaged as well, not just those looking.
That's correct. As part of our early program, we met with a number of employers, in fact, some who were veterans. When we then talked about what was needed, and it was wonderful. They literally came up with some great ideas just in the room, just getting that chance to talk to one another. So we're hoping to kind of bring some of those thought leaders together from time to time.
And if there's anybody looking for gigs at Youngsoft, what's is it youngsoft.net, correct?
Youngsoft.com.
.com, okay.
Absolutely. We'd love to help there and hope that people reach out for jobs on the website, and also they can send us their information.
Perfect.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, awesome. We could have had the whole show just with you. I swear, this is great conversation. But this is Major General Amy Corder. Appreciate it coming out. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back to segment 3 with Emily from Mack Avenue Media. This is the IT and the D Show.
All right, we'll see you in a sec.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT and the D. All you nerds out there.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
Welcome back. This is the June 1st edition, episode 94 of the IT in the D Show. We're hanging out in our brand spanking new studios above Activate Gaming in the Trinet corporate offices in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy. We're here with Dave the Geek, Jeremiah, Dr. J from Daily Detroit. Find us online, itandthed.com. This segment's brought to you by Online Technologies.
They have an event tomorrow.
They do. They have an event tomorrow. Security conference in the morning.
Yes, if you're listening to us and you're drinking like we are, 8 a.m. may not work the best for you, but they are doing an event at their data center, and it's on our site, our meetup group, and on our Facebook page. Check it out. It's all about cloud security, which matters these days quite a bit because, well, it's all about the cloud.
What is the cloud?
It's the cool thing on the diagram where I used to point. I'll be honest, like that name annoys me more than anything else because, like, since '94, I've been doing diagrams with a cloud on it, and it was basically that was just to tell clients, look, that's where the magic happens. You don't ask what happens to cloud. You don't worry about what happens to cloud. Just it's the cloud, and things
This is
happen.
Fight Cloud.
Exactly. Rule number one: you don't ask about Fight Cloud.
But
So yes, they have an event. It's tomorrow from 8 a.m. to noon. They've got a couple of really cool speakers lined up. And again, all the details: Facebook page, meetup group, website.
Check them out, onlinetech.com. Awesome company.
Yeah.
Colo, Cloud, all the good stuff. I've been working with those guys for about 20, almost 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
You know, and Gary Baker actually was one of the original founders of it, like from.
Oh, and so was one of the other guests that was on the show
Absolutely
Saturday,
hilarious,
which was
the history, right.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I was one of the founders of Online Tech." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you just became one of our sponsors." Hey.
So, segment 3, we have a first-time offender. We've known you a little bit, but we have Emily in the house, who is the proprietor.
Emily Alber.
Hello.
How are you?
The Detroit Party Queen, I guess.
That's your new tagline, but you're Mack Avenue Media.
Well, it's only when she's with her Wonder Twin.
Yes, my Wonder Twin. Shout out to Crystal Ellis.
When Emily and Crystal are together, I think it's like sort of like when matter and antimatter get together and bad things happen.
Wonderfully bad things happen.
Always.
So talk to us. I mean, you made a transition from corporate sales to kind of doing your own thing. What's Mack Ave Media, and what are you looking to accomplish?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question that way. I did make the transition. I'm a huge small business advocate, and a lot of the companies that I was working with before, when I was in a more corporate environment, couldn't necessarily afford the products that are out there available to them digitally. So,
well, you're paying not just not just for the product. You're paying for their overhead. You're paying for their senior managers. You're paying for all of their back office stuff, right? So obviously, doing it solo, you're able to be a little bit more nimble.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't doing social media prior to this. I was doing digital advertising sales. So I worked for a few well-known companies in the area, and the people that I ended up making the greatest connections with were small business owners, and they always can't afford the campaigns that they need to make a huge splash. So what I'm doing is I'm offering social media services at an extremely affordable rate, and I'm able to work with people and to drive new business to their establishments through social media.
So what are some of the things you're doing? Are you issuing? Are you doing campaigns? Are you just like handling their feeds? What are you trying to are there targeted goals? That's always some of the things. I don't really understand I understand social media, but not when you're doing campaigns and driving things. Are you doing events generation, demand?
Do we really understand social media?
No,
no one does.
Twitter, no. Everything else.
But it's social.
I love Twitter.
Right.
I love Twitter. I don't know why you guys dislike Twitter so much.
Because it's the Game of Thrones. It's 140 characters, and we have no idea what the hell's going on.
True.
And really, can you guys ever say anything quickly? No.
No, but with Twitter...
If I can express myself in 140 characters, I clearly have not thought it through.
I feel like Twitter's an important part of the social media pie. It's a very business-oriented... I love pie, too. So it's kind of a way for people to project themselves professionally. So if we were to have a client of mine and... say the Detroit Pickle Factory, and we decided...
Detroit Pickle Factory.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be right there with me. I'm so sad.
All together, yeah.
If we were going to target, the point of social media is to convert followers to paying customers, paying clients, donors, whatever. There's action.
Wait. We're supposed to be converting our 13,000 Twitter followers to paying customers?
No, I don't.
No.
So far, you've done a pretty good job of converting it into beer and pretzel rods.
True.
Victory.
You win.
Falling down's reaping the benefits, not us.
But with the clients that I work with, that's the point. I mean, they need someone. They don't have time. They need someone. They don't understand the whole social media game, so they need someone to come in.
Well, but that's small business 101. I mean, that's, whether it's, hey, I need a sysadmin, but I don't really need a full-time sysadmin. I don't understand email servers, but I need email. I don't understand, I don't, I mean, that's that 1 to 150 odd, employee company is, I've been saying for 10 years, is huge in this area.
Well, that's one of the big things, too, is like we looked at what's going on with this show. TV's dead. Terrestrial radio is slowly dying on the vine. Yellow Pages is completely dead.
Yikes.
Right, so everyone's looking for that way to generate new business, right? So I guess, that's where you come in.
Right.
Leads.
Leads. Did you see my post on Instagram with the Lionel Richie? Hello, is it leads you're looking for?
Oh, no.
I know.
That was
so corny, but it's a good one. It's true.
There was a LinkedIn, like a sponsored ad, and it was talking about, like, get all the leads. And so I made a comment. I'm like, guess who the lead is? We are.
I'm the lead.
Exactly. Like, I don't even know.
Exactly. If you're not paying for a service, you are the service.
Right.
So
right. But yeah, so I'm just trying to work with people that are small business owners that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford my services. They are my services, social media management services. I charge typically about $200 less a month than what other social media professionals charge.
And so, like, what do they come to you for? Like, so, okay, I'm out there, I'm a small business owner. For whatever reason, I'm listening to this stupid-ass show. Why do I call Emily at Mack Avenue Media to run my stuff? Like, what am I going to get out of you?
Well, what you get out of me initially is a consultation. So we can sit down and we can talk, discuss potential, execution for a strategy. I don't give away all my secrets up front.
Typical first
that
date.
way it's, yes, typical first date. And I got the bell. So, yeah, I mean, I always give a little bit too much information because I just love people.
That's
and
us.
I want to help them, right?
We've rewritten how many business plans around this town.
More than I wanted to.
I've seen Jeremiah in action doing that as well.
We call ourselves the Sean Parkers of Detroit. Like,
just drop the.
Just Facebook,
Yeah.
Genius.
Well, so I consult them, and then 9 times out of 10, my advice that I give them, they don't know how to execute, or they can't manage on a daily basis. They don't have time, whatever. So then I end up,
taking over.
Just taking over.
So what are some of the people you're working with now? I know you had a few things like, you talked about the pickle factory. I'd never heard of it before. I'm like, what in the blue hell is
Oh
the
my
pickle
gosh,
factory?
it was amazing. So, like you had said, my partner in crime, Crystal, she is such a little entrepreneur, and I'm very proud of her. Her family is our long...
Such a little lot of things.
She's a little lot of stuff, a little ball of energy. Her family actually owns the pickle factory and a couple other properties around that area, which is, I think we decided Island View was the name of the community. And so that's, East Side Detroit. And there's an exhibit actually going on at the pickle factory right now called Detroit Boom City. It's running through June 12th.
It's not the history of pickles?
No, but we need to do that. I think that's something we should look into.
Pickles and properties of pickles.
Yes. No, it's a pop-up art exhibition.
Pickles and
Detroit Boom City. Detroit Boom City is a pop-up art exhibition created by a nonprofit group in Atlanta.
Okay.
And they've come to Detroit and they have rented out the pickle factory.
So a nonprofit group out of Atlanta is running an art exhibit in Detroit about Detroit?
In a place that has pickles.
There's... From what I remember, I went to the before they opened kind of behind the scenes event, and I didn't totally understand that either, whether it was Detroit art or whatever. But they have this wonderful, collection of artists that are doing very hipster things in the factory. Not shocking.
They have the internet up there. Let's go to Detroit.
Yeah. No, but it's really great. And that's running through June 12th. And so Crystal has decided, her family owns the properties, and it's kind of like abandoned warehouse area. she's just going to outright buy all of it, and she is going to become the new entrepreneur in the Island View community.
Where there ain't no islands and there ain't no view. It's
right across from Belle Isle.
It's a great event space, and she's looking to do that type of thing, continuing to rent the building out for events.
Okay.
So that's really going to be great, I think, for the East Side and for my partner in crime.
That's kind of cool.
It is so cool. You guys need to come by and
we
check
will
out the
definitely
building.
be there. So what's Dine Drink Detroit?
Oh, okay. So I am going to be supporting through social media the event Dine Drink Detroit, which I believe we decided was sort of the affordable restaurant week for young business professionals, people that are, have it all happening and they really want to hang out downtown but may not be able to afford restaurant week pricing.
So it's like White Castle, Golden Corral.
No, actually, it's like my favorite Great Lakes Coffee and Grand Trunk Pub, Green Dot, St. Cece's, Motor City Wine. There's La Feria. There's a bunch of different restaurants on that list. But that's going to run October 1st through 10th. And I'm going to help increase engagement on the Dine Drink Detroit social media platforms to help them bring more awareness.
She's going to change the paradigm.
I am.
Is it true to the rumor that skinny jeans get in free?
False.
False. Damn it.
Wool caps, Bob. Wool caps.
Nothing's free for skinny jeans. Yuck.
I figure it's October. The lumbersexual beards.
Well, and so actually, Grand Trunk, speaking of which, will be there July 1st. They are, in fact, I believe today was the opening, or if not, Tony, I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun on you. They're opening a little private whiskey bar at Grand Trunk that we are going to be having an event in on July 1st.
Sounds terrible.
It'll be horrible.
Hate it.
That'll be our one-off.
You only have to drink all the things.
Right.
It's such a travesty challenge.
There's Internet of Things, Whiskey of Things, drink
the Whiskey of Things,
beer of things,
whiskey and the Internet.
That's what you need. Forget IoT. It's WOT.
Whiskernet?
It's Whiskey of Things.
Whiskernet. Surfing the internet is dangerous with whiskey involved.
Because that's when you start commenting, and then you comment things you
I don't
later.
troll when I've been drinking, but
you do.
I
You do when you're
definitely
sober?
look up weird stuff. I don't troll ever.
Liar.
I don't think.
So what else is going on? You had one more thing going on. What was it?
The Downtown Boxing Gym Youth Program.
Yeah.
I have taken them on as a nonprofit client.
Brad Snyder, I remembered his last name. If you're out there listening, I know Brad's involved with the Golden Gloves and a bunch of other boxing youth promotions downtown.
We need to get him connected. I mean, I'm sure that there's already connection with the youth program, but where this kind of became a cool situation is I actually have a buddy, Xander. He moved home from New York, and he heavily into jiu-jitsu, and he's opening the Detroit 313 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Gym in the old Kresge building.
.com.
Right?
Wait, hold on. Can you do that one more time? Detroit 313 Jiu-Jitsu building.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Is that anything
That's
like
important. No, that's important. You have
from
to.
MMA.
Yeah.
Like that's wow. Screw me for knowing that. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he's.
Yeah. Whatever.
I wonder if the
He's
URL's
incredible.
available.
I don't know what's going on with that, but no, it's been a really great connection. I'm going to be working with him in the future on marketing and social media, and he has now been able to reach out to my contact at the youth boxing program to volunteer, which is huge.
So what are they doing? Like after school program? You said for youth. Like what are they trying to accomplish?
Yeah, for during the school year, I could be completely off, but I believe it's from right after school until about 7 p.m. They have GM donated some vans, leases on vans for them to use. They either pick up the kids from school or from whatever location that they've decided on. And they bring the kids to the gym. And the whole point is to teach the children discipline, defense.
And to beat the hell out of each other.
Beat the living hell out of each other, right? No, not at all, actually. They're
or tourists, whatever.
it's more about discipline. It's not about violence. But
you rack a discipline.
They also offer, where this has become an incredible situation, they offer tutoring. And I'm going to start tutoring there for 4 hours a week, where these kids come in. They are fed by Forgotten Harvest every day, unlimited amounts of food. And then they're also offered tutoring services. They've kind of become a bigger deal than just being a boxing program. And it's amazing. And if you could meet Carolyn Geck down there and all the people working down there, I mean, they are on point with, working with these children. They're moving to a new business, or new location that's a little bit larger to be able to accommodate more children. I believe that's happening in the next couple of months.
Okay.
And then the program will start going from, I think, noon until 7. So they're going to have an extended summer program to, help keep these kids engaged in healthy behavior.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
proud.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
How do you find that online? I want to look that up. That sounds great.
You know what? Either Google Downtown Boxing Gym Youth Program, or I believe that it's Downtown Boxing Gym Youth Program.org.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, that's really cool.
I feel like there's a synergy here that could happen between you and all of your domains and her with all of these people.
Jared, did you get the memo? You're not allowed to say synergy on our show anymore.
You missed that memo.
I'm not trying to boil the ocean here, Bob. Or blue sky any thoughts.
I'm sure you could if you wanted to. That's right.
Paradigm.
You probably again, Mackinac segment 4. Yeah.
No, but I would love to learn more, get involved. That sounds awesome.
Well, I'll find them. We'll have them in the recap. I'll make sure I have a link out there in the recap.
Absolutely.
And all that fun stuff.
That would be wonderful.
So, prospective clients, like, where do they come find Mack Avenue Media?
If you
and
would
what
like
should they
to
expect?
contact me, if you'd like to contact me for a consultation or a conversation, you can go to mackavenuemedia.com, or you can go and check me out on Facebook.
Now, is it more than just the holding page that it was a few days ago when I looked?
No, it is. We're working on changing that whole situation. I know. It looks like a front for like a weird operation. No, it's not. There's an ability to sign up for a newsletter.
I'm a white girl that lives downtown, and I'm like, come for a consultation. And my
website. I am starting a new business. I've been around for 3 months. And
you are running very far, very fast.
I am. And so that's definitely on my list, but that's something, I need to work a little bit harder
Plumber's
on.
house, leaky pipes. That's how it usually goes. Yeah.
But you can go to the website. You can sign up for my fake newsletter that exists somewhere, and I know that I directly get the news. I know that I get those sign-ups, so I can always contact someone. Or you can find me on Facebook at Mack Avenue Media, Instagram Mack Avenue Media, Twitter Mack Ave Media. Someone had Mack Avenue Media.
Really?
Yeah, weird. Maybe it was me, and I forgot the password.
Maybe it was the return of the Mac.
I was looking up domains actually this weekend for some stuff we're doing. I'm like, crap, who the heck
this was
has
outstanding.
this? Who has this domain? And I go on Whois, and I look it up. I go, oh, Robert Wallenspiel. I go, I own it. That's amazing. I better get the .net. Yeah. It's like,
what jerk tried to snake this up?
Me.
I
found a little treasure.
Crystal is the queen of domain buying.
No, you haven't seen Dave's.
We come up with hilarious stuff when we've been, being Detroit party queens.
She might be the queen, but we are definitely the kings. Because, I own far, far too many domains.
Now, this sounds like an XICW event.
Domain wars.
Domain wars. The kings and queens of
Dave
Detroit
versus
domains.
I actually told Bob over the weekend that they're like every now and then, whenever we have, because there was an XICW event last night, just for giggles, we ought to get Bob and I in the ring and get the video cameras rolling and just, call out other podcasts in the area for a tag team SmackDown.
That's a great idea.
Coming for you.
At the Pickle Factory.
At the Pickle Factory.
Pickle fight. That sounded gross.
No.
Oh, Lordy.
So then they get a dick trophy.
There's the winner. No belt. You get a trophy.
And it all comes out.
The top schwans in the D.
All right. So, hey, we are bumping up against a break.
Yeah, we will we'll be back segment 4. We got Jeremiah from Daily Detroit, just came back from the Mackinac Policy Conference. We got a lot of cool stories to talk about, and we will see you in a couple minutes.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. This is the IT in the D Show. We'll see you in a little bit.
Hi, this is Ralph Macchio, and you're listening to IT in the D Show. Wax on, you know what.
Do you know what your storage costs? We do, and that's why we're doing something about it. At Quantum, we think you're just paying too much. period. We've been helping our customers protect their data since 1981 while reducing their total cost of ownership, often by as much as 40%. We believe your strategic data protection plan should take advantage of all available technology. Let's talk some more at 586-745-4DXI. That's 586-745-4394. Quantum. Established name, new ideas.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
And welcome back, segment 4, June 1st edition, episode 94. This is the IT in the D Show. We're hanging out in our brand spanking new studios above Activate Gaming in the TriNet corporate offices in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, always here with Dave the Geek. Jeremiah from Daily Detroit in the house tonight.
Hello.
Find us online, itinthed.com, Twitter, Facebook. You know what to do. If you got Google Play Store, get our app. Just an easier way to listen to the show. And the segment 4 is brought to you tonight by Pure Storage, flash array storage experts. Get them online, purestorage.com. Killer company. Definitely check them out. And so Dr. J, Jeremiah's in the house from Daily Detroit. This is the first time here. What took you so long?
Well, it hasn't been that long that you've been in this new space.
This is our 4th show.
Well, but a couple of those things, we've been at Movement, we've been at Mackinac Island.
There's Mackinac Island. Housing and hobnobbing.
We're going to drive 5 hours away from Detroit to talk about Detroit.
Right. Let's get all of
the people and drink all their bourbon and eat all their pizza and leave.
That was hilarious. So speaking of what, you just spent last week at Mackinac Policy Conference. For those that haven't been there, don't know what it's about. What kind of goes on there?
Because heaven forbid that should happen on a weekend. Not on through the week where you have to take off work to go.
Well, the thing is, though, is that for a lot of these folks, it is work because it has a lot to do with their business. I'll tell you, of all the conferences I've been to in my life, I would say that a very high volume of business gets done up there. Although it's the Mackinac Policy Conference, I would say that 90% of the action is people like Bob meeting other Bobs doing Bob things.
So middle-aged white guys meeting middle-aged white guys and doing business.
Yes.
Solving the problems of Detroit.
Well, it's part of it.
That won't backlash at all.
Never backlash, ever.
No.
But, in context, it's by the Detroit Regional Chamber, which is definitely a business organization. So everything with Mackinac should really be viewed sort of like with a business lens. I don't think they're there trying to solve all the problems of the world, but they're the only group that is as visible about their meeting and things like that. So it kind of becomes the conversation. And frankly, when you can get the governor, get the mayor, get these big CEOs all into one place for a few days, it definitely creates a mantle of leadership. But it also creates an opportunity, honestly, to get things done. Because when you're not in the middle of Detroit, you have the unique opportunity to actually talk to each other and, do what you guys talk about all the time, which is making relationships. There was a ton of that.
What a novel concept.
And that's really what it's about. It's not about talking about Detroit 300 miles away or whatever. It's really giving a safe space for people to have relationships and not necessarily be right up front with the political machinations that happen on the day-to-day basis.
So that's kind of the thing when you talk about being a policy conference, you think it's about politics, but you're talking about it's where business gets done. Is the line just blurred?
Well, the line's blurred, but also you got to remember that when business gets done, part of business is making
more
sure.
Importantly, was Emily, what's her name, Rajkowski, whatever the heck, blurred lines.
I don't.
Never mind. Go ahead, carry on. Sorry.
And so. That's the thing, though. Businesses definitely are interested in policies to push things, push agendas, and push ideas. And not everybody is in agreement 100% with everything. And that's part of it, is to talk these things out and actually have a space that's extremely wonky compared to a lot of the discussions. There was this huge hullabaloo around the idea that they're having a race discussion up there with Devin Scillian and Nolan Finley. But you know what? If I've seen race discussions outlined here in Detroit, and you know where they get buried? The back page of the paper. No one does a story on them, and it gets relegated, to the back burner. Whereas,
or they're on Flashpoint and I have to go on.
And then I get to see Kelly and your head up at the Mackinac Policy Conference on a giant screen.
Which I got no likeness rights. I don't understand how that happened. Like
That's because you appeared on a news program, Dave.
I didn't sign my life away. No, but that's honestly, I mean, like Devin seemed like a really good guy. I'm glad that conversation.
Well, and he's really trying to do something with that conversation, which I'm kind of impressed with. There in Detroit, we kind of have this culture where everything's great all the time. You know, excuse my French, but my business partner has a shirt that says "Detroit, pretending shit's fine since 1701."
Right.
And I think it's a good one. And I mean, that's the thing, though, is like I think part of as Detroit moves forward, I think one of the things that's important is that we move to a place where we can actually have like debate, and you're not just shouted down for being anti this or anti that, where you can have a debate and say, okay, how are we going to steer these things moving
Detroit
forward?
is pretty much live action Reddit at this point. I'm not going to lie.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. And it's kind of absurd because that doesn't really help anything.
No. I mean, like, that's the worst part. Like, you try to have, like, even a contrary yet helpful opinion, and you get vilified. Yeah, you might as well be like you get lit on fire and you're done.
And it's worse than Reddit because at least I like Reddit, and I think Reddit's cool, and I think it's one of the things is like there's so many things happening at the same time, right? But there's so few bigger voices that it just becomes a shouting match between the same people you've heard over and over again on Reddit.
Chamber,
right? Whereas on Reddit, like you get all these great ideas coming from people you never heard of, you know. Whereas and like today. You know, it's something where it's like, oh, I've heard this guy again, and oh, he's on the soapbox again, and it's kind of old. We got to push past that.
Well, what you said you blurted out? What did you blurt out? And then you got the groan from the host. What did you say? You did?
Hey, you've got streetlights. You're supposed to.
Basically, like, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean,
enough for the press releases that you cut the grass. We get it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great. Don't get me wrong. Do not misconstrue this as I don't think that Mike Duggan's doing a good job because he is.
He absolutely.
He absolutely is. But that is what you're supposed to do. Right. You are supposed to have the streetlights on. The trash is supposed to be picked up. The lawn is supposed to be mowed, and that's the thing, and that's the reality of where we're at. We've got to move past that.
So I'm not issuing press releases. My daughter is not on a stripper pole.
Right.
That's you supposed to.
I didn't put on Facebook today that I fed my child.
Right.
You know, like, hey, I'm an amazing father. I fed my
kids had a roof over their heads.
But I think creating that baseline of good expectation is a good thing in the way that, you know, try to make and try to show how viable Detroit is for a lot of types of businesses to be a good place to be.
You set the bar low, though, Jer, when you do stuff like that. You know,
the bar was so low before, Bob.
But it's breaking news that there's an Applebee's opening on 8 Mile.
When is that thing opening up?
Oh, no. The newest one was the Witch Witch. For us, the newest hotness was the Witch Witch.
The Witch Witch?
A Witch Witch. You know what a Witch Witch is?
The what?
The what and the who?
What is it?
It's a sandwich place, and it's taking the place, and it's like. I mean, it's great that they're doing it. They're good people, whatever. But I'm so surprised at what takes off. And that's one of the biggest things is that it took off. But also things like the abandoned houses that are being filled with flowers and going to turn into a flower garden. There's all kinds of interesting things.
What?
Yeah. There's an abandoned house that's going to be actually taken over by a group called. It's owned by someone that owns a company called Pot and Box, which does floral arrangements, and they're actually filling the house with 100,000 blooms in this fall and doing like a
Pot and Box. Are you sure they're flowers?
But speaking
those aren't petunias.
That's not oregano.
The exhibit takes you to a higher place. But one of the things that was really interesting up there at Mackinac, I was talking to all the emerging leaders that are coming out, all the young folks, sat down at the same time with the head of Loveland, which does all that why don't we own this stuff and all that Detroit mapping.
Yeah.
At the same time with the CEO of Rocket Fiber, Mark Hudson, in the same place, talking about, you know, the hardware and the software of Detroit's transformation. Coming out later this week is my interview with Rip Rapson, actually, head of the Kresge Foundation. What's really interesting about that is I straight up asked him, what is New Detroit? Because he talked about in his speech, like, this is the New Detroit, all this stuff. I'm like, back home, that plays a little differently. We need to talk about what that is. And it was really great to hear him unpack truly what New Detroit is, and not in a T-shirt and not in some angry Facebook post, but one of the most thoughtful answers about New Detroit that I've ever heard. because it's like it really went in depth and talked about it. And I was really glad to have that opportunity on the porch where you would not have that opportunity here in Detroit. You just wouldn't.
So what was the answer? I feel like I have to ask. Do you remember?
Well, I of course remember, but I'm also going to put it up on my site. But the basic idea is that it's not about moving people. It's not about getting rid of everyone who's there. It's about new systems and new things that just work better. You know, whether it's like making sure that the government actually functions, or making sure that transit
street lights that light. Stop.
But kind of like a new way of approaching things, as opposed to just saying, oh, we're going to throw everything out. It's much more of a new approach towards just doing what you're supposed to do and doing and taking care of the basics, which is something, admittedly, that Detroit didn't do for like 25 years.
Well, what's you taking all the people sitting back here, you know, spouting off on the Twitters? Who the heck do they think they are talking about Detroit 5 hours north? I mean, it was
like, you know, us.
Right.
A little bit, but I mean, the other side of that is
getting away. We go to Vegas for conferences. I get all that
from our studio in Ferndale.
Yes, from your studio in Ferndale.
We can see Detroit. It's right. We lean out the window. You can see Detroit right there.
Right.
There's even a historical marker for the first tri-level intersection, right outside your office here.
Ooh, wow. I was not aware.
I only found it because I happened to look right. It's really hard to see.
So what's your take on the hate and the backlash? Is it just stupid? Is it like warranted? You know?
I understand the frustration of a lot of people.
Matt would say stupid wiener hatred.
Stupid wiener hatred. I think that if you've never been to Mackinac, it's really easy to understand or to not understand what it is.
Like, now if you've never been to Mackinac or you've never been to that particular conference,
if you've never been to that conference before. And if you understand it in context,
because I've been to Mackinac,
horse shit smell everywhere.
It is everywhere. Oh my god!
So that's what I'm assuming the conference was.
Right.
Anyway,
how do we address the horse shit smell problem?
Politics, horse shit.
But it also is important to note that there are a lot of voices in Detroit that don't feel as heard, and they aren't as heard as they should be. And there should be more venues. You know, Mackinac. The thing is why Mackinac gets so much of the conversation is that honestly there aren't that many other venues where people are having these conversations. That's the reality of the matter. It would be one thing if you're in Detroit, we had these conversations even off as a sidebar, but we just don't. We really don't. And so Mackinac becomes the focus because of the people who are there. But I think everybody's voice is valuable. You just have to say it.
You'd think you'd have something at like the 6-month mark of the year and do it here.
Well, there's the Detroit Policy Conference that does talk some things here in Detroit, but again, it's by the same crowd. You don't see a large organized thing. You know, one of the most interesting panels I went to last summer, and they're not doing it anymore, sadly, was by the Michigan Citizen. Yeah, it's a Citizen. That was talking about like race and gentrification, and it was actually a really honest and awesome dialogue talking about the difference between, say, developmental gentrification and psychological gentrification.
Did it cite the Onion article?
No.
That I shot you earlier?
No, it did not.
Okay. Awful.
That was awful, but that was awful.
Guy feels like he's the only guy trying to gentrify the block. Yeah.
Right. But it had really good and interesting conversations between, like they had Phil Cooley there from Slows. They had George Namandi, who's at the Namdi Gallery. He's been a longtime leader in the art community, in the African-American art community, as well as Lauren Hood, lots of other great folks, right? But unfortunately, that was a one-off at the Jam Handy. It was a packed house for sure. But it was a one-off, and it kind of like faded into obscurity. And it's like these conversations need to be happening everywhere, up there, down here, across the board, because we've got to get over some of this stuff in order to move forward.
So interestingly, and this is one of the quotes that I saw from the guy from Slows, and I thought was interesting. They were talking about not just people living in the area and that kind of stuff, but even things as simple as like the basic workforce makeup. Like somebody was trying to comment on how, you know, if you walk into a restaurant like Slows, the wait staff is predominantly white. Why is that? It's like, well, look, you know, the city basically drove all of those people out to the suburbs, you know, that were like good, skilled, talented wait staff, went out to where the money was. Now everybody's trying to pull them back in. How do you even like start that conversation without it getting inflammatory?
Well, I think there has to be the ability for both sides to be able to walk in each other's shoes a little bit. There's a lot of real challenges for folks in neighborhoods towards getting jobs and job skills around those things. They're real challenges, and we don't deal with them enough as a society. We just kind of figure that, oh, it's over there and it's fine, when it's really not. And like, oh, well, they could go to the same schools, but no, the schools aren't the same at all.
Yeah.
It's not a level playing field at all. For someone to pull themselves by the bootstraps, you got to give them bootstraps. So we don't have working mass transit in this town, right? Those are bootstraps. We've got to give the population of Detroit bootstraps to be able to make these things happen. And that's something that I think a lot of people are interested in and they're trying to do. But you also have to look in context of they have businesses run and things to do they have to do today.
Right.
To make those things happen. And then you do have, for the first time, some real demographic shifts in the city. A recent report from the census talked about how actually, for the first time in decades, there were 12,000 more white folks moving into the city than white folks than there were the last year. I mean, it's starting to shift, but you're still losing large amounts of African American population to the suburbs.
Can't we just call them people, for crying out loud already?
According to the census, no. Apparently.
Stupid wiener census.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like, you're just like.
I think the male count of the population would be the wiener census. All the males, that's the wiener census.
And let's be honest, would be the stupid wiener census.
As it should be. So what anything else to add on? I want to hop into what's going on with Daily Detroit, because obviously you guys are taking off like gangbusters.
Oh yeah, we've got we're right in the middle of putting together a new office over in the old Kresge headquarters there in Midtown.
Apparently, you need a new screwdriver.
Yeah, I do.
A better screwdriver.
A much better screwdriver. I bought the wrong one. Leave it to the computery nerd guy to build the desks. That works well.
That seems logical. That sounds like it should have been a Patrick job.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's really exciting stuff. We've got some great interviews coming down the pipe. The team is growing like gangbusters. Just trying to get more and more stories out there. We're always open for story suggestions. Doing more and more stuff in the neighborhoods is a huge focus of ours, and doing a lot of original content. And you know what? Not following the other publications, kind of going in our own way. But that's what seems to work for us.
You mean so you're not taking what other people write and then just reposting it and putting a clickbaity title on the piece
with a tiny excerpt that may or may not have anything to do with the actual content of the article?
Right,
no.
You're not doing that?
I cannot speak for other publications that also have D's in their name.
Oh, who the heck is that? I've never heard of them before.
But yeah, it's definitely been a wild ride, but it continues to be a really fun one. Obviously, we're going to be doing more podcasts and things together, and some other folks, which I'm really excited about, because it gives you an opportunity to get a little bit more in depth with your coverage.
Right.
Because when people are reading things on the internet, they got like a few hundred words, and it's all they can do. But audio gives a great opportunity.
I haven't learned that lesson.
You have nowhere near learned that lesson.
No, nowhere near. Your posts, and then you add on all the links at the end. It's kind of impressive. It's just like this link. It's a very, very 1994.
I try to be informative.
It works. It works.
He wears that like a feather when you say that. You're very 1994. He's like, thank you.
I meant it as a compliment for him.
Gold star for Dave.
Right.
Gold star for Dave. So yeah, things are going through. We've got more and more advertiser interest and things happening. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to do this. This is a completely self-funded project. There's no great, benefactor from the sky. This is just, Patrick and me just making it go and taking what we've got and making the next thing happen. And that's been a lot of fun. It's also challenging. Digital media is something everyone thinks can't work, but so far.
Or thinks they know everything about.
Oh, that's true too. And we'll sell you that seminar for only $20.
Yeah, $20
at your local,
at your way to success. Yes.
At your local restaurant in the back room.
It still exists. You know how angry that makes me every time I see that crap.
Yeah, I do.
There's people that I talk to that are like, hey, can I come back in the show? And I go, I just saw a post from you.
You're
$40
banned.
LinkedIn your way to
banned.
No. Come on,
banned.
Just let's go to
no show for you. We needed like the no soup
We do.
for you meme for Dave, and just reply to it with Dave as the no show for
Just you and I with the double bird, no show for you.
No show for you.
None. Like you get the gas face.
That's right. You get the gas face. That's what it is.
Because I mean, I wrote that. What did I write? That $20 LinkedIn or Facebook. class?
Forever ago.
Like 5-6 years ago. Because like there's guys that still
There was that whole
crap.
thing about rolling the bean in there.
Oh, that's
that's
right.
in the article.
But there was like the people do it today. Like, I'm eating ice cream. What's your favorite ice cream? Because I'm engaging my audience. It's like I want to freaking kill them. Like they think that
because you're not engaging them
No.
in any form of valuable
No.
method whatsoever.
I hate
at
cookies.
all.
What's
Yeah.
your favorite cookie? It's like I get it. You're trying to
Dude,
ask.
the day that we post something on like our IT and the D Facebook page, it's like, hey, I'll bet you can't name a city with the letter E in it. Kiss my ass, shut us down, we're done. That's
How about a dog name without the letter A?
Right, yeah.
Guess this math problem. And the thing is, people click the crap, and the people on the butt ends of them are making like hundreds of thousands of dollars off idiots pushing buttons and clickety clicks.
I hate having principles.
Honest to God.
Oh, principles.
Right. But you guys are your traffic's pretty much doubled since the last time you've been on. Am I wrong in that?
Yeah, we're kind of in. Yeah, we're definitely moving up, and we're really doing well with engagement.
Are you moving to the east side or
moving on up?
Yeah.
I love that song. But the thing we're really working on is making sure we've got stuff that keeps people on the site and engaged over and over. So it's one thing to bring them there once, but we're really focusing on making sure they come back over and over again, and that's really been our focus. And then once we get that a little bit figured out, then we'll continue to push the growth train as we go. Because we're such a small group. Everybody's part-time. Which is kind of amazing that everybody's putting in so much effort. I can't thank the team enough, whether it's Ardelia, Erica, Stephanie, Janice, Megan, Mayhole, of course, Patrick, Joel, all those guys. I mean, they're just doing great. And if I missed anyone, I'm sure I did. I apologize.
Slap him tomorrow if you did. That's totally okay.
They will.
Just walk up and say, this is from Dave.
Not to pat you on the back, but the one thing your site and what you do passes is the bullshit meter. This isn't clickbaity toilet garbage. You're actually trying to be, I don't want to say somewhat informative and mildly entertaining.
Reporters are supposed to do.
Right. In a non-biased.
Hey, we tell a fair and balanced story. You supposed to.
Let's have a press release for that. Fair. But it's because there's way too much. There's so much garbage and crap to filter through on their internets these days. Where you guys are, it's refreshing to see someone just trying to bring it back to what it's supposed to be.
Well, one of our favorite things to do is some of the debunking, because there's so many internet posts out there about Detroit, and that's kind of been a fun thing for us. Whether it's been helpful stuff like when
Top 10 burgers.
Are they bringing a 2-mile long water slide to downtown Detroit?
Grr. But you know what I feel good about? I feel good about the fact that close to enough people to fill Michigan Stadium read that post about us debunking it.
Yeah.
And so I feel good about that, And I feel good about when there was a thing for jobs for the arena. There was these things going around it. Whatever you think of the Red Wings arena incentives, whatever, step aside for a second, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who just needs a job to pay the rent.
Right.
And they're looking to get this done. And, for them telling them they have to go one place when it's the wrong place, when there's all this stuff they could fill out online, they don't even have to go there. All this other stuff. Like giving people the right information really matters. Because I think about the fact, like when I made, like $9 an hour, $8 an hour, it's like that matters, man. Like that time matters, time to go out and do that, take the bus and get places, 3 buses. Like that's the kind of stuff that's important. It's like it's where rubber meets the road for a lot of these people. And I think that's what we try to do is where the rubber meets the road, wherever you're at, whether you're trying to get a job or trying to explore your city in a different way, like with Patrick's posts about going through the East Side canals on a kayak, and what you can do, all kinds of different things that are happening. It's where the rubber meets the road for Detroiters. And that's really our ethos and our North Star, as opposed to getting this story or getting that story. We don't really care about following everybody else because there's so many.
You're not really about the scoop. You're more about the in-depth story.
Well, they can scoop all they want. They can run around all they want. I don't have the desire, and we don't have the resources and time to go do that. I think people want to understand their city, and I think what we're really trying to do is help them understand their city.
What did you say this weekend when you said you had a tipster? I wanted to smack you when you said that. Did you say you have a tipster?
We have a few.
Oh my God! See,
the tipster might have also been a hipster.
Is his name
so
Rickster?
A thipster?
But hey, we find you at dailydetroit.com, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Daily Detroit.
Absolutely.
We always appreciate having you on. You know, obviously you're a regular, you're a mainstay here, and we appreciate the insight you bring. It's an approach that's much needed across the city.
And thank you to both of you for doing what you guys do with the platform. I mean, I think that's great because you're able to inform and entertain and bring people in, and it's also damn funny.
Cool. Well, hey, we're going to wrap things up. This is episode...
One last round.
I was going to.
Okay.
Want to thank Major General Amy Corder, hanging out, Senior VP of Sales and Marketing at Youngsoft.
Thank you.
Youngsoft.com. Emily from Mack Ave Media.
My pleasure.
We're going to absolutely post the links up to Mack Ave Media and follow you on Twitter. And then obviously Jeremiah. Mack Ave, what did I say?
Avenue Media.
Mack Ave, whatever. You know, short.
Mack Avenue Media.
At least you didn't make it Mack Avenue Media. Like
we're just IT and D.
IT
we are IT and D.
Because you are IT and the D.
And you are not. And just as Jeremiah said, we are IT and the D, and you simply are not, never will be.
Even though we hung out with some of your representatives at a party, you are still not, nor will you ever be.
This is a wrap-up for episode 94. We will see you next week. Please drive careful. Get your phone numbers. See you next week. Beat it.
Later.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash. You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy.
Make the run. The run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Root.
Bob loves it in the camp.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
就on the cheese.
Bear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy. Shut up, Mimsy. Shut up, Mimsy.
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing. The alphabet. It's brilliant. Yeah, I can't take that position. That analogy sucks because it's right. Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up. Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Yeah. Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me. I love this city. I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.